stand outside another window, singing all the songs that I wrote for you. How can I drive all night just screaming love songs at the top of my lungs?
Thank you guys so much for doing this. Like I said, I'm so excited to get to know you guys, and especially with a Chicago native group, we love to see that. We're, Chicago ride or die at the Hub Chicago. So really appreciate the time. I'd love to start off. So, the three of you, like I said, are from Chicago. How did you all intertwine? How did CALI JEWLS become, who they are? I'd love to hear the background story of how you all met and linked up.
Who wants to go first?
Well, why don't you guys tell it, because I was late to the party.
So Caleb and I, we've known each other for years. We've been doing music, I don't know, last 7-8 years.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
We were, back in 2018, we were in a band that we had built, and we were so pumped about, material that has never been released because it unfortunately didn't work out. But when things didn't work out, we're like, what do we do with our talents? What do we do with all the stuff that we want to write? And he's like, let's just start a project. And the idea was to just produce music and have different artists sing on the stuff that we write. And I was like, that's a cool idea. And I was like, what should we name it? He's like, what if we name it CALI JEWLS? I was like, is that a joke? What does that even mean? We're not even from California. And he's like, Cali for Caleb, and then Jules. People call me Jules. So Jules for my name. And I was like, honestly, that's kind of genius.
So Alex, you're just out. You're out. You're not part of
it. I wasn't even there yet.
Yeah. So
I love it. No, I love the name. I was wondering where it went from, so you beat me to it.
Yeah, fast forward to 2019, we last June, Caleb had worked with Alex prior in the past and heard his voice through some recordings. I was like, yo, what if we do the first song with this guy? His voice is amazing. And Caleb was like, good idea. Let's hit him up. So we hit him up. He came by, and that's how Posture started. That was our first song, and I was like, this has to be a thing. We got to make this a project. And now we say there's no Cali without Al.
Oh,
that makes sense.
There you are. Okay, so preliminary, giving you shit to do, and I apologize.
It was planned the whole time. It was planned the entire time.
Right.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, if your name was like Sam, you're out of here.
Legally change name.
Yeah.
Seriously, you're Alex, no matter what.
I changed my name to Alex last summer to fit, so I kind of put everything into this project.
I knew you looked like a Sam. I'm telling you. I love it. No, I love that you guys have always, been into music, and it's great that Caleb and Julio, you guys knew each other, prior. I love stories like that. I'd love to hear, how did all of you get into, music to begin with? How did this start? How did the passion start?
Well,
I know it's hard with the three of you, but
so I come from a pretty musical family. I grew up playing violin. I had lessons and everything. And I learned everything by ear, and then I basically met this really good violin teacher, and he was like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to play what you play without knowing how to read music. So you basically have to practice like 4 hours a day. And I was like 10 years old. And I was like, no, I'm not trying to do that. I don't want to do that. So I quit. And then a couple years later, I played Guitar Hero at my friend's house. And
you're like, this is it.
I want to actually play this. Like, this would be sick. So I picked up a guitar because my dad had played guitar and stuff. And we went to a guitar shop together, and they picked up a guitar, an electric guitar, and I started there, and I've been playing ever since. And I started recording my own music and producing and learning other instruments, piano, keys, bass, ukulele, you know, the whole 9 yards, drums and stuff. So after all that time, I just was in bands, producing and recording people's records and
Amazing.
doing audio and production and making records for a long time at this point. So that's basically how I got started.
That's amazing. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
It's much cooler.
I wish my drum skills on Rock Band got me to where you are, but unfortunately they didn't. Well,
I practice a lot. Okay.
sure. I remember going hard on that thing as a kid, but it didn't work out for the best.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
What about you guys, Alex and Julio? I'd love to hear.
Yeah. I come from a slightly musical family, probably not as musical as Caleb's. My dad is a pretty good guitar player, and my mom, they grew up singing in church together. So music was just kind of always like expected for me, because like even as a kid, like there's always a guitar laying around, and I just thought it was cool to strum it. So, you know, I started playing guitar when I was young, and I never really took lessons. I didn't really like lessons. So it was kind of a thing that I just like would randomly pick up on here and there and kind of taught myself. But I was a really, really shy kid, to the point where like I had like my 2 friends and that was it. And I didn't really branch out further than that. So singing in front of people was like not a thing my whole life. And in fact, my parents didn't even know that I sang until I was like 17. So
Wow.
yeah. So yeah, I grew up in church and started singing in church when I was 17. That was the first time I'd ever sang in front of anyone. My whole life was, I was 17 years old, like about to turn 18, so pretty old. And yeah, it wasn't really like a thing that I was super passionate about to start, because I played sports growing up. So basketball was my passion and my love. And I got to college, I started playing piano a little bit. And when I got to college, all my friends just happened to be like super talented musicians. One of my current roommates now is a piano player, and he started like teaching me piano. And I don't know, I just randomly was like, music is actually so cool, and I've loved it my whole life. And I never thought about doing it like, you know, it on a larger scale. I just loved playing my guitar and the piano just like for myself. And then freshman year of college, I wrote my first song, and I was like, maybe I could just keep doing this. I don't know, see where it goes. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really have much of a plan until Caleb and Julio hit me up last June,
And here you
I
are.
mean, it seems to be going pretty well. Hopefully it continues.
Oh, for sure. What would you say, you know, flip the switch of kind of keeping your circle small, you know, with your 2 close friends, to kind of where you are now, and, you know, being able to sing and make these amazing music videos and, you know, be the lead singer in the group. What would you say flip that switch for you?
I think it's kind of a mixture of just like growing up and moving to a different place. So I was born in Chicago, but I grew up in Florida. Yeah, so I think coming to a city like Chicago kind of forced me to like branch out. And I'm still a shy kid at heart. Like it takes me a minute to like.
We all are.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I think just experiencing singing in front of people and like performing for people, it's something that I was so afraid to do. And then the first time I did it, I was like, this is like so fun. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was just, I just needed to do it. And then the experience showed me like, wow, this is actually super dope and super sick. And I like am really passionate about it. So
Amazing. It's sometimes the anxiety of it beforehand, like not knowing what to expect. And then the minute
right.
like, I'm born for this, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to do it.
That's amazing. I love it. Thanks for sharing. Julio, what about you?
I just learned how to play guitar last year. No kidding.
Casual.
No, just like Alex, I have a sports background, so I played basketball the majority of my life. And, I started losing passion with it, and I had a family friend stay with us for a couple of months, and he was a guitarist, and he was just playing around the house, and I'm like, man, this sounds so beautiful. I want to learn how to play that instrument. And he taught me like these 3 bar chords. It was like, I don't know, it was like F, A, and G. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm playing music. This is really cool. I want to continue this art. And my dad bought me my first acoustic guitar after I told him I want to learn. And I just kept going with it, you know, and I was a huge fan of like alternative rock, and I'm like, man, it'd be cool to start a band. And started doing that, met Caleb, kept going with it, kept writing, and now I'm here. You know,
I love
CALI
it.
Jewels.
Worry about how you brought me on to the band.
Oh yeah, I mean, so you know, Alex and I are pretty similar. I mean, we're all pretty similar. I feel like, you know, besides Caleb, he does not have the sports background at all.
He's like,
Caleb's not
nah.
shy. Caleb's not shy. He's outgoing.
Yeah, so we all kind of played at church and grew up in church. And, so I was doing church stuff, and I was on the side, I was doing alternative band stuff. And I played a show like 7 years ago, and that's where I met Caleb. And he was playing the same show, and we didn't have a guitarist, we didn't have a bassist or a drummer. It was just me and a singer, and it was a great experience. But after the show, I got connected with Caleb, and I saw him play, and I was like, this kid he's so good at what he does. And we brought him on to a studio session, like, hey, would you be down to write with us? And he's like, of course. And after that session, I was like, it'd be cool to have you full on. Like, and he became a member of the band. We built that band, and in 2018, that band broke up, and that's when we kept going and started CALI Jewels.
That's amazing.
You lured him in with snacks, right? That was the thing in
Yeah,
the
it was,
studio session.
It was
But you have to explain that. I gotta know.
Their music. I was like, yeah, dude, for sure. Come on.
I was like, yo, if you join, I'll buy you Chick-fil-A.
I'll wait to all of our hearts for sure.
Did you do the same for Alex too? I hope.
Dude, Chick-fil-A's the best in life.
Oh my God.
With Alex, it was like, I'll buy you a burrito at Chipotle. He's
That Chick-fil-A and Chipotle, that's what all our songs are about.
The deep meaning behind it all. Now we.
Yeah.
Now you got the
Why
list.
did we wait for Chipotle? I don't know.
Chipotle,
Exactly. Yeah. All the
Why do we
sad
wait in
songs
line?
are about Chick-fil-A being closed on Sundays. That's where the emotion comes from.
Makes sense. Amazing. Well, I'd love to hear from you guys. I mean, I love the story of how you came together. I'd love for you guys to describe to me how you classify your sound. Do you consider yourself in a specific genre or more genreless? I'd love to hear your opinion of how you describe your own sound.
Yikes.
We've been getting this question a lot, and we still don't know. I think Caleb has a pretty good explanation.
We're basically like, it's like we're not even alternative pop, I guess. There are some alternative roots to like what we do, but it's like we want it to be pop music. We want a lot of people to be able to listen to this and recognize it. But it's not traditional pop in the sense that
Right.
What did I say a while ago? I don't even remember what I did.
You said something with an edge.
Professional edge.
Pop, yeah, it was like alternative pop with a professional edge or something like that.
Oh, love that. It sounds so fancy.
That's the new genre on Spotify that they're just starting.
Yeah.
Professional Edge by Spotify.
Yeah, it's a new topic.
I think the way it comes about is when we write music, we literally just write and it just comes together. We're not like, oh, we have to write this type of song, or like we have to sound like this type of artist.
Right.
It's never like that. It's whatever comes from, our souls, I guess. And then it's like we all kind of have a different taste with our styles.
Yeah.
It's all of our styles combined, all of our ideas and our influences combined.
That's amazing.
That's what completes
makes you guys
us.
unique.
Yeah.
What are some of those influences that I guess spark that fire within each of you that mesh somehow together?
Well, I would say that Julio, his biggest strength is he knows what sounds good. So he has a good mindset when it comes to saying yes to ideas. I write all the time. I produce a lot of different types of music and sounds and stuff like that. So, you know, even down to like some of the CALI JEWLS stuff, the demos, the unreleased stuff that we have like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
We have like 15 different song ideas that we haven't even fully explored. But that's just because we have a pretty strong pursuit of excellence and critical about the work that we want to put out and have intention behind what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably the most important thing that we focus on is making sure that the song is good by itself. The song legs, and that's what we really like about the latest song is like when we were writing the song out, we were trying to like overproduce it and extend it and do all this other crazy stuff on it, but at the end of the day it was like the original demo fully encapsulated the whole idea, and that's why we put it out the way it is. It's shorter, but you know, if you want to listen to it again, you can, you know?
Yeah, of course. I actually absolutely loved the music video for that song, obviously being from
No way.
like,
Thank you.
yes, that was so great. How did that idea come about?
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I connect so deeply with it, but what'd you say? Sorry.
I just said it makes me so happy.
Oh, good.
glad you
No,
liked
I
it.
really loved it. It's like being from Chicago, I appreciated that much more. And
Right.
you know, the city and different spots, and I loved that. And I loved that there were different things that showed the lyrics. I thought that was so creative. How did that come about?
Yeah. So it truthfully it was just kind of like a random thing that I didn't even really try to do. I was just really bored one day, and I started shooting it 2 weeks before it came out. Like it's not like we sat down with the storyboard and like went through scene by scene.
Yeah.
Like I was just sitting on the couch one day. It was a Monday. It was the first sunny day we had in like forever, and I was like, what? I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm just gonna go like shoot a bunch of stuff and see if we can make like some sort of lyric video. And I did, and I put together this little teaser and I sent it to Caleb and Julio. And I was like, it'd be really dope to like interweave shots of like all of us and just have this kind of like nostalgic, vintage looking, like filmy video. And I think what's cool is the song is obviously very emotional, and like pretty sad. And it gets to the hook when the beat hits, and it's like, you know, looking back on like the things that made the relationship memorable. So the visual, the music video is kind of this cool, like happy looking, like you know, the three of us are just having the time of our lives and we're dancing in the streets, and you know, it's fun, and it's like very kiddish, it's like very nostalgic.
Yeah,
So
you guys just looked like you were having a great time, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we did. We were like, let's just bring a camera and go hang out and do what we do. You know, we're just being ourselves. So it's this like idea of like this sad song interwoven with this like happy, like almost like memories, you know, and that's kind of like the song. That's kind of the idea of the song. So yeah, that's really, that kind of is CALI JEWLS. Is just like what Caleb and Lily were just saying. Like, we don't ever like say we need to make this. We kind of just like, we meet up, we hang out, we chill for a little bit, and then sooner than later, Caleb starts playing something on the piano. Julio and I get an idea of a story and we write it. And that's just like us. And that's exactly what happened with the video. So
Yeah, that's amazing. It sounds like all of you have a really fluid creative process. I'd love to hear, I know it's not super defined, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about what that creative process looks like and how you decide, you know, what does sound good. Maybe Julio, you can take this one away, but, you know, how do you define what sounds good and what you want to keep, you know, as your brand?
I think a lot of our music has emotion to it. And if it makes us feel, like personally feel a certain way, if it strikes a chord in our soul, then that's how we know we're on the right track with the song. And I mean, a lot of the time, like the ideas are just created, like Alex said, when we're just hanging out. You know, I feel like Caleb, he plays a huge role in the production area. He's a musical genius. I mean, he grabs like my pieces, Alex's pieces, and puts them together.
Yeah.
And it completes it, and that's how it is every time. Like, you know, he's on the keys playing something, and now I'm like, you know, next to him, like in his ear, like, yo, go here. And he's like listening to me, and I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to talk to him, and then Alex is behind me on the couch with the microphone singing to whatever Caleb is playing, and it's like this chain of reaction. And that's how I feel like that's how it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that a lot of what I do in particular is based off of instinct. And I trust my instinct most of the time because 90% of the time it works. So I think that half of it is us trying to find a spark, because the biggest issue that Julio and I saw with the pop industry was that these songs that come out don't mean anything.
Yeah.
Don't have value or emotional connection most of the time. You know, you even see it with like hip hop today, like hip hop.
Oh, for sure.
Like before it was like glorifying and like all about materialistic things, but the problem with pop music is like there's no connection, there's no emotional like thing that's gonna grab you and bring you in and be like, hey, I've experienced that before, like I've been through that before, like I know what that feels like. And like especially when we get down to doing like final vocals and stuff with Alex, you know, I pushed him a little bit. I've had quite a bit of experience even working with him prior and working on his own music and other projects that he was in. And I think that at the end of the day, I'm trying to capture that and pull that out of him in the way that he performs the songs. And even down to when we're like writing lyrics is like, what is the story? What are we trying to tell? We're trying to tell these stories. We're trying to tell the emotional connection and trying to make it relatable for a lot of people so that here to be like, yeah, I know exactly what that's like. Cause you know, I just feel like that's the biggest issue with a lot of pop music today. It's like, there's just nothing there, you know?
Yeah. I feel like the good thing pop music does really well is that it's catchy. And it's like
for sure.
You know, it's a vibe and it's a bop, you know. But we want to do that, but we wanted to have meaning, you know.
Right.
If you put those things together, something meaningful and a vibe and a bop, and you put it together, I feel like that's what we're trying to translate.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
For me, you know, just I'm not a musician by any means. Unfortunately, I'm tone deaf and don't know how to even hold a guitar, but it doesn't take away from my appreciation for music and especially, you know, the emotional connection. We feel it so deeply with so many artists and specific songs, you know, relating to what we've been through. It's great to hear that all of you are trying to connect the two, because I think that pop is an amazing genre, but I think it lacks that wholeheartedly. So my next question, you know, relating to that is that the legacy that you're trying to leave? Would you say, you know, years from now, to your fans out there, is that the legacy that you want them to remember you by?
Before you guys get into it, I'm going to jump off. Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you very
Talk
much.
to you guys soon.
Appreciate you.
Later.
He's just
Now that Brandon's gone. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm sick of that guy. I'm just kidding. I love Brandon. Brandon's literally the best.
Brandon and I go way back. He's I think I've known him since freshman year of college. So it's
Oh, wow.
been a minute for sure.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I was happy he helped me connect all of us for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I think that's kind of our goal, you know, and we've talked so much, like we were just saying, that like there's so much fake out there today, and I think people are starting to realize that, and I think people are starting to recognize when things are fake, you know, and so it's been cool to see people's response to even the little that we've done. I feel like, what's up? Sorry, I'm in a house with 4 other dudes, so they're gonna.
It's okay.
I am one of the dudes.
But yeah, like we've made it kind of our goal to, every time we get in the studio, like we don't want to force anything,
Right.
because the second we do that, we're trying to be someone else, and like we don't want to do that. Like we just want to be ourselves.
Right.
And I really think that shows. Like I think people see that, and that's what draws people to good art. I don't think you can have good art without authenticity.
Absolutely.
And I think there's a lot of stuff being put out today that lacks authenticity, and people are kind of going like, I just think people are getting tired of it, and so
For sure.
you know, it's cool to have these guys around and to be able to start making something that's like has value, you know.
Yeah, of course. That's
So
amazing to hear. I love that answer.
mhm.
Is Caleb okay back there?
yes.
I was like, oh no, we lost him.
I'm here. I'm listening. I have to send this.
You're good. Don't worry at all. And I won't keep you guys on for too long. I just have a couple more questions.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from each of you. You know, if there was someone you could open for tomorrow, who would it be and why? It's a hard question.
You go
Loaded.
first, man.
Who?
You go first.
Oh, geez.
Loaded question. I apologize.
Okay, like realistically or unrealistically? Like if we
Give me
if ours-
both.
Okay. Realistically, man, I don't know. There's a band called The Wildlife that we were trying to get in contact with. They're a little bit
Okay.
smaller, and they're about to go on tour.
Oh.
That'd be cool.
But yeah,
What's up?
I said, well, hopefully they'll go on tour. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, when all this goes up. I mean, obviously the dream would be someone like Laney or 1975.
Yeah.
You know, someone like Lauv. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the
Amazing.
movie.
Amazing.
I've been kind of joking about this for a while, but kind of not joking. Like we're not going to do any Bill in 1975 and Lady.
Wait, sorry, Caleb. It was hard to hear you. It kind of cut out at the end. Could you say that again?
We're not gonna do any shows unless it's Laney in the 1975.
Amazing.
Kind of
I love it. I love it. And going off of that, you know, who would you like to collaborate with? I mean, unrealistically and realistically, you know, who do you think your sound would mesh the best with?
There's a artist called Chelsea Cutler.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my God. Chelsea,
Maybe-
funny fact before you dive in, Chelsea Cutler, the guy who opened for her, Alexander, 23. Well, he's a friend of mine.
Oh wow.
You know what?
Yeah. So that's really funny that you
Oh,
said
wow.
it. I love her music.
Yeah, she's awesome. I think, Alex, who'd you say that one artist that'd be cool to collaborate with?
Dude, Lennon Stella. She just put out an album, and
I just listened to it. It came out like last week, right?
Yeah, she's so
Yeah.
good. Yeah, if there's anyone I could write a song with right now, it's her.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She's so talented. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And, you know, going off of this, you guys, who's the biggest inspiration for you?
Oof. You guys go.
Listen music. That sounds ridiculous, but I work on so much music all the time. Like I don't even listen to music recreationally.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like my getaway.
Wait, Caleb, I'm the microphone. You gotta. I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
It cut out again.
Yeah.
It's picking up. It's picking up your roommates. Or, I mean,
Yeah. Something.
Okay.
Oh, we're back. There we
There
go.
we go.
Okay.
Love it.
I don't listen to music recreationally because
Wow.
I work on so much music in general.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like I try and do other things that, you know, that let my brain kind of decompress, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really hard, especially for me to even pinpoint that stuff because I love indie pop music. I love like a good alternative rock song. I love just, like good poppy hip hop stuff too. Like I can appreciate because I do everything. Like I can appreciate the production, the melodies. Like one thing I pay attention to is something that I really like. For me, it's probably the most important part. Like, are second, and everything else is filler. But
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, me and Alex especially really work on melody together. And we,
Mhm.
you know, things that work and things that are harmonious in a lot of ways, and
Yeah.
we make it happen. So
I love that. I really love that. I unfortunately cannot relate because I listen to music like 20 out of 24 hours of the day, but I
sounds like
love to hear that.
to do
That's awesome.
How about you guys?
Oh man, you go. You take it, Julio.
I feel like I listen to the same artists all the time, and then there comes a week where I discover someone new. I was like, oh, I've been missing out. But I don't know who's my biggest inspiration when it comes to like music. I do appreciate a lot of bands. You know, I do appreciate bands like Laney or the 1975.
Yeah.
I listen to all types of music too. I mean, from rap to country.
Ooh, you lost me at country. I'm so sorry.
Waves is fantastic. That was
What'd you say?
Oh yeah.
her last record was probably one of my favorite albums, and I don't like country. I hate country. It is the bane of my existence. But honestly, that record is like the perfect pop blend of country themes and good pop music and good melodies. It's fantastic. 100%.
Maybe I will give it a try. I
Yeah.
can't say I like it because country really just no. So no.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, good.
Like, trust me.
No, I love it. Wait, sorry, Caleb. I can't.
Sorry, I don't like country music. So if I'm
Okay.
saying like it's pretty good. I think anybody could listen to it.
All right. I'm trusting you on that, but I feel like I'm gonna turn on. I'm gonna be like, what? But I'll try it just for you. No, I love it. I know that Caleb, you said maybe you don't listen to music a ton, but for me, I feel like music has the ability to kind of get you through tough times or good times, whatever it is, changing your mood or whatever it might be. I'd love to hear from each of you what is either a song or an artist that's gotten you through a hard time or transports you back to a specific time.
Bon Bear.
Oh, that is
100%.
there. Oh my
Yeah.
God. For me, it's Frank Ocean for sure.
Oh man, you took mine.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blonde and Channel Orange all day.
Channel Orange is my favorite album of all time.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's up there for me for sure.
Yeah. Frank Ocean is, and as far as like songwriting, is definitely my biggest inspiration. Like I saw an interview a few years ago of him talking about why he likes writing music. And he basically was like, I love telling stories so much. And if I can tell a story and like sonically complement it with music, it's like the best way to tell a story.
Yeah.
And for me, I like my whole life I've loved telling stories, like even with my friends, just like, I don't know, anytime anything happens, everyone always looks to me to tell the story because it's just, I love doing it so much. And hearing that was like a moment, I feel like, where I was like, oh snap, like I can do that. Like I love telling stories. I should start doing it more like with music. And yeah, so it's like, it's interesting to think, Frank Ocean's albums, like it's not that like the albums themselves like got me through times or anything, but they encouraged me to like start writing music, and that's really what made music become like my therapy. So it's not necessarily hearing music that gets me through things, it's writing music,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So
Yeah, totally. That's amazing. I love to hear that.
I think for me, a record that really kind of is a staple in my path, I guess, as a musician and a producer and stuff is an album called In Heaven by Mr. Twin Sister.
I'm writing it down.
It's an older like indie alternative pop-ish type record, and it's like it has a lot of nostalgia for me because it was a time when I was dealing with a lot of things at home, and I was still living at home, and just kind of getting through college and trying to find myself and be grounded, and everything like that. And it's like every time I listen to those songs, it's like it takes me back to those memories and like where I was and what I was dealing with at the time. So yeah,
Amazing.
it's definitely probably one of the most influential records for me, at least for a time in my life,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big feeler. I don't know, when it comes to music, I just, want to feel something. Or when I play guitar, you can ask Caleb. Anytime Caleb hears a song, he's like, oh, that has a lot of emotion. He's like, oh, this is something Julio would write. And, bands like Boney Bear, like, mean a lot to me. Now is another band that I love.
Oh yeah. What's that record? What's that older record? The first one that they came out with? I forget the name of it, but that one in addition, for sure. Me and Julio both love that one.
That's amazing. You guys are going me
Daughter at some point was,
I love it.
yeah. You listen
What were
to
you gonna
Daughter?
say? What? Sorry.
You listen to Daughter?
I've heard of them, but I've never actually taken a gander over there. Are they good?
Check it out. Yeah.
Okay, I will. I'm gonna keep hitting you guys up for song racks. This is great. And band love it. Always down for new music. This is amazing. You guys, the last, heavy question I have for you, I should say.
Bring it
Yeah, really loaded questions today. But you guys are relatively new, all together since last, June, you said? It's been, your year anniversary is coming up. Happy early. But I'd love to hear from you guys, looking at the next year, 3 years, 5 years. Like, I hate asking this, but what's the goal? Where do you want to see yourselves? What would be the ideal plan going forward? Where do you see yourselves in the near future?
Alex?
I feel like our career path is going to be just as spontaneous as our writing styles. Yeah, I don't know if we don't really have much of a plan.
Yeah.
We're kind of just like seeing how these singles keep doing, and it'd be cool to get picked up. Like we always talk about, it'd be cool to get picked up by someone and to be able to get resourced to produce an entire album.
Of course.
I know we definitely want to do that, but it's hard right now because like everything that you see and hear from CALI JEWLS is just us three, like musically and like marketing wise. Like we do all our social media, we do all our graphics, all our videos, all our art, like everything is done with the three of us. And as much as that's like
black
amazing.
and white graphic too?
What's that?
The black and white, like outlined graphic when you did that?
Oh no.
No, that was
One thing. The
I was like, that's really impressive.
that was Julio's fiance.
Okay, fair.
So,
I'll take
you know,
it. To the
Still
family.
close.
Yeah.
So close.
Tell her that's amazing. I loved that.
Yeah, it's awesome. She did a great job.
Yeah, it's so cool. So yeah, you know, it's hard. It'd be hard right now to dedicate time and energy to writing a whole album, just because like we just don't have the manpower right now.
Of course.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll be able to get funded by someone or something. But for now, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
Basically, we're looking for an angel investor.
Yeah.
We do about 400K.
Okay.
Float
At
us for
least.
months. I think that'll float us for a couple months. I think. Yeah.
Maybe. We'll see. It'd be
Yeah,
tight.
I mean,
That's what the food budget is. Ration.
I'll Chick-fil-A and Chipotle.
Please.
No home cooked meals whatsoever.
Never.
I mean, just like Alex said, we don't really have a plan. We're just writing music, and we're doing it for fun. We're doing it because we
I
love
love
it.
it.
And if it takes us somewhere, great. If it doesn't, great. You know,
Yeah.
We have built a friendship out of this, and the fact that we can do this together is awesome. And I don't know, but at the end of the day, like if music was our career for a long time, hey, we would love that, you know, because you're doing something you love all the time at that point.
Yeah.
And that's what we would love to do if it presents itself, but
Yeah,
if it doesn't,
absolutely.
it's okay, you know. We're
course.
doing this because it's fun and
It's your
we enjoy it.
passion.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Julio said it best. We at a point in time where I was starting to feel like this wasn't fun anymore. Like it became like constantly trying to work on this. I had to have a conversation with Julio and Al about it and be like, listen, like, I don't want us to lose the fact that this is supposed to be fun. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, if the fun is gone in the way that we do this, then we're already tainting the path. We're already tainting the message by doing that, because
Right.
part of who we are is we're just a bunch of relaxed dudes like making music and having fun with it, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the fun thing about that video is like Julio, when we were talking about it initially, Julio was like, he was like, I don't want people to be like, these guys are stone cold killers, you know, like these guys make really emotional music. Like Julio's like, we're totally like, and like let's show people that let's show
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
and engage with people and stuff, you know. And I think that's probably the most important part for me, at least, because I do
Yeah.
a lot of work on these songs and spend a lot of hours, you know, putting the time and stuff. And like I especially want to make sure that we don't lose that spark, you know, because it's happened to me. It's happened to Julio. It's probably happened to you, Alex, too, in the past. Whole project.
Sure.
We definitely don't want to lose that mentality because it's about the framework, right? When you go into if your mentality isn't correct or it's tainted, it's going to affect the way everything else translates. So
No, completely. And thank you for sharing that. I think that's an amazing message, you know, to all of your fans, and a great mentality going forward. You know, being a Chicago brand as well, I have to ask this, you know, do you feel like being in Chicago, which isn't necessarily the music scene as much as, you know, LA or New York, but do you feel like being here has a big impact on what the music that you come out with, or even the brand that you want to portray?
I think so, a little bit. There's not as much pressure here,
Yeah.
you know. And that's the thing about us, like what these guys have been saying, like we're not trying to create an image that isn't who we actually are. And like it, you know, of course we love when our music's appreciated. It's a great feeling when we put out a song and people respond to it and they say they like it. Like that's awesome. But truly, I don't think that's why we necessarily do it. I think we make music because it's just like, it's who we are and it's what we love doing. And we're just like kind of hanging out and being ourselves. And if people pay attention, then that's great. You know, if they don't, like, that's not our identity isn't in other people's praise. Like it's just in the art that we create. So, and I think being in Chicago maybe helps us kind of stay on that path because we don't have millions of people around us trying to be the next best thing, you know? So,
of course.
Yeah.
I love that. Was there anything else that either of you wanted to add, or did that kind of sum it up?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it was perfectly said. I just wanted to make sure.
I just want to add this, like being from Chicago, like, yeah, it's a big city, but it's not a big music city.
Right.
And if you make it out of Chicago, which is not our mentality, but if you make it out of Chicago, it's just like, there's something about that being super special. It's like, wow,
yeah,
like, we made it out of Chicago in the music industry. I don't know. It's something about that would mean a lot to all of us.
For sure.
It's how special that is.
I would say in my experience in Chicago, like Julia and I, we've been to LA, we've been to Nashville together. Like,
I love Nashville.
I'm actually gonna go this weekend, but
oh my god,
nice.
I get my oil changed first though. So I've been to LA a couple times, and honestly, I wasn't crazy about the vibe, you know, and I know that's like so cliche to say, but like I personally, like, it didn't feel like people were even real. They were super superficial. And like it was all about themselves. And one of the things, like being in the Chicago music industry for a pretty long time at this point, I would say that the difference here is that people want to help other people succeed.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It goes down to getting shows. It goes down to supporting other artists. It goes down to people pursuing music for the right reasons.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people who pursue music for the wrong reasons, you know? And like, that's kind of the mentality, I guess, for me. It's like I've always appreciated being here because I've always felt like people actually want to see other people succeed. And it's not a competition, right?
Right.
And I think part of that comes from it being a smaller music industry. But I think that the amount of like love and promotion and people who get excited, I mean, there's tons of people who really support music here. And
Oh, for sure. It's nice to have that community here.
grunge era a lot of that came from Chicago and stuff like that. There's like so
Yeah.
beautiful musical history from Chicago, like jazz music, all that stuff. So I think that that's just carried on over the years, and it's become a thing that's, you know, it's not disingenuous. It's authentic. It's raw. And like when you listen to people who are from Chicago, it's not all good, but a lot of it is very good, and it's authentic. It's real.
Yeah.
You know, and
You'll
that's
get that from us Midwesterners, you know?
Yep. We go through the ups and downs of the season.
Exactly.
Definitely affects us.
No, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time today. I'm super excited to write about this and, you know, promote you guys in the best way I can. I mean, I want people to hear your music. I think it's fantastic. And, you know, promoting authentic people, I think that's, again, like you said, we're all a community. So I'm super excited to do that. Are there any from any of you in terms of what you want any of the readers to hear about, you know, your band, your story, your message, anything.
I mean, first of all, thank you for taking the time to do this. It means the whole world, truly. It really does.
Thank you.
I don't know. We want people to see us for us. Like, that's pretty much it. Like, we just want people to see that we're real and we're cool. We're normal.
I love it.
Can I stand